All right, what is up, everyone? OJ over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another PE Live. Today is Monday, July 23rd, 2018. We have a fantastic show for you guys, a lot of cool stuff to go over, and man, you guys are already on one in the comment section. Seriously, some of you guys need to put down the future serum that you guys are drinking and making all sorts of comments. Well, if the Switch can't run, whoa, like, y'all need to chill out and let the future play out as it is. I get it. I know we're talking about future stuff, but just relax. Relax and let stuff play out. Nobody knows what's gonna happen at all. Like, nobody would have thought that Doom and Wolfenstein and all this crap would be on the Switch. Nobody knows what Nintendo's doing in the future. Nobody knows anything. So just relax, man. Some of you guys are strung out. Relax, calm down. Now, let's go ahead and get into some of the Ninja news for the day. So I already had 3 videos for today, guys. So make sure you check out those videos. I guess we can have a little bit of a topic about the whole... I'm not even going to use the P word. I'm just going to say asking developers for games that we know should already be on the system. I had a video about that. Make sure you check it out. Talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. Because once again, I was asked to promote people asking for this game that should already be on the system. But if you look at what these Kingdom Hearts dudes, they develop games upside down. They don't develop games like normal people. They say, okay, what's this, this, and this, and then they switch it all up, and then they turn everything upside down, and then they take 10 years to bring out the game. So I mean, that's the people who develop Kingdom Hearts. This is the type of, so I'm not, you know, like, it's so hard not to curse when I'm talking about some of these people, but that's that you know what boy type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's that you know what boy type of stuff that I'm just not gonna subscribe to. Like, whatever they bring it to, they bring it to. I'm not gonna sit here and hooping and hollering and waving through all this crap and making Twitter campaigns and all this garbage that these dudes can't even read, that these dudes aren't even looking at or reading. They are asleep when everyone's making these stupid Twitter campaigns and stuff. So I made a video talking about that. We also had Octopath. We had some more information on the sales of the game, and also talk about what Take-Two said. Oh yeah, our Switch games have been successful. Okay, Take-Two, no problem, my guys. And then once again, video about Dragon Ball FighterZ. That's getting some new Switch content, some new modes, 1v1, 2v2, 6-player offline as well, and the next-gen Xbox. So I have some, and plus there's more, like all those videos also have more. So make sure you check out all those videos, long day of work, whatever the case is. I got 3 of them all up on the channel, so make sure you check that out after you're done watching this live stream here, or whenever you can. All right, now with that out of the way, Octopath Traveler giveaway. Yes, we have an Octopath Traveler giveaway. Let me go ahead and link that in the chat for you guys. So if you have not, signed up for the Octopath Traveler giveaway, make sure you do so. I have a link. I just put that in the comment section or in the chat. Make sure you check that out. If you're on Twitch, head over to YouTube and make sure you check that out on there as well. Try to get as many entries as you can. There's multiple different ways to enter or get like another entry into the contest. We haven't had a ton of people. I think there's only like 2,000 something people so far. So the more you enter in, the better chance you have. Just because there hasn't been a ton of people, but we still have around like 20 something days left. So I'll look forward to that. But anyway, I think that's it for Ninja News for the day. Yeah, I think that's it. So let's go ahead and let's get into shout-outs. If you guys want me to say something to you or just put something in the comment section and I'll start reading off. So what's good? Shout-outs to Elite Ninja AV. How's it going, man? Deadlock7, what's good? Upper Nimbus. Elite Ninja Upper Nimbus. Elite Ninja NR Mare. Elite Ninja Jumpmon. Says port beg or demand. I said I'm not going to be saying or port demand. You don't have to demand any. You can demand if you want to. But I mean, for me, I don't need to demand anything. I mean, you can ask for it. It's up to you. Everybody, like I said, everybody's an adult, their own individual. You guys can ask for whatever you want, but you're not going to see me sitting here on my knees begging some stupid developers that aren't even freaking paying attention to me, that don't even care. They look at me as literally like an ant in a sea or a huge ocean. They do not care about you. I don't know how many times these developers, no, the Kingdom Hearts developers do not care about you Switch owners. No, the Kingdom Hearts developers do not care. I don't care how many times I'm going to sit here and say that they do. They don't. The Kingdom Hearts developers do not care about Switch owners. They don't. Kingdom Hearts, the people who make this game, Square Enix, that branch, no, they do not care about Switch owners. End of story. They care about oh, I almost said something I shouldn't. They care about Sony fans. They care about weirdo stories, lines, and doing all this weird stuff. They care about putting it on Xbox, then not even releasing the first 2 games. I explained this in my video. Like I don't want to sit here and play into this weirdo development team that they have. I'm not gonna sit here and bow down to them. No way, man. I'm not gonna make them think more highly of themselves than they already think. Because only somebody who makes a story like Kingdom Hearts, you must be full of yourself. If you make a story like Kingdom Hearts, you must be crazy. You can't be a sane person if you make the type of story that Kingdom Hearts people make. So I'm not going to play into their ego. I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not playing into their ego because they do have egos. Like I said, anybody who makes a story like Kingdom Hearts and who makes Kingdom Hearts? They don't even give Xbox owners Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. What type of arrogance is this? Like, nah, man. I'm not playing into their egos. Anyway. Shout outs to Party Man. What's up? Oh, okay, yeah. What's up, Elite Ninja Party Man? What's up? Okay, KO. What's good, man? Thanks for coming out to the stream, dude. Suzumi, what's good? How's it going? Diamond, how's it going? Alonzo Vines, what's good? I'm doing good, man. David Potts, what's good? How's it going? Gen Joint, what's up? Elite Ninja Gen Joint, how's it going, man? Shout outs to Elite Ninja L Trooper Cabra, Elite Ninja Asan, Douglas Gate, what's good, man? What's the date? There's no date. Watch my video. There's no date. It's just August. Watch my video and you'll know. Let's see. Neil Blitz the Pretty says, "What's up? What's up, man? How's it going?" Shout out to Elite Ninja Rufus. I'm an FNT Rex. What's up, man? How's it going? Dank Beam Center. What's good? Simply Chris. What's up, man? How's it going? Let's see here. I'm FNT Rex. What's good? Shout out to Elite Ninja Jumpmon once again. Alonzo, got you. Muscle Mark. What's up, Muscle Mark? How's it going? Snow Bunny 426. What's good? Crazy Old School. How's it going, man? How's it going? J Doll Love Money. What's good? Cinnamon the Hacker. Shout out to Elite Ninja Cinnamon the Hacker. How's it going? Nick Tyner, what's good, man? It's been a ghost town in the Discord for a couple weeks, has it? We had a pretty good turnout for Mario Kart, so not really sure what's going on. Maybe people got stuff going on, man. That's probably what's happening with the Discord. People just got stuff going on. Summer, you know how it is. Once some more games come out, like My Hero and all that, then there'll be more people. I think everyone's playing Octopath. If you want to be honest, everyone's been playing Wolfenstein, which isn't a multiplayer game. Octopath is not a multiplayer game. Captain Toad, not a multiplayer game. So that's the reason why the Discord's been a little bit empty, because there's been like Ease 8, Lacrimosa of Dino, like all the guys that I see, all the guys and girls that I see, you guys are all playing games, but you guys are all playing single player games. So there's like no reason to get into the Discord because everyone's just playing single player games, you know? So I think that's kind of what's going on. But maybe like once My Hero comes out, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and the Discord's gonna get a little bit more lively. Let's see here. Shout outs to Elite Ninja El Chupacabra. How's it going, man? But I think the real reason is because everyone's playing Octopath. If you want me to put my finger on something, it's like easy Octopath. I think those are the two reasons why. What's up, Nicholas John? How's it going, man? Fantasy Origins, how's it going? How's it going? Jasper, what's good? Jaquan Evans, what's up, man? How's it going? Shout outs to Elite Ninja Amiibo fan. How's it going? Elite Ninja Keenan Parker, what's good? Shining Resonance Refrain. Yeah, that's another game that people have been playing. Single player game, Shining Resonance Refrain. So there's no reason to get into the Discord, you know? No reason to get into there. Shout out to Wound Up Penguin. She says she's playing Octopath right now. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Octopath Traveler is amazing. Yeah, it's really good. Let's see. Shout outs to KJ2399. What's good, man? Braxton, what's up, man? I don't recognize that name too much. What's up, Braxton? Fernando Gonzalez, what's good, man? Man, why are you putting yourself through torture, Fernando, and playing Wolf 2? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Sonic Mania Plus, good stuff. I still got to go pick up Sonic Mania Plus. What's up, The Truth? AZ Glitch, what's good? Is it Arum? Arum, what's good? How's it going, man? Thanks to have you out here. Thanks to have you out. RX Stream Gaming, what's good, man? Universal Wand, what's up, my boy? Universal Wand's in the house. Shout outs to you. Flaz, what's up, man? How's it going, dude? Thanks for coming out to the stream, homie. All right, well, we got 122 people watching, but only 46 likes. So let's see if we can chop on that like button, guys. Let's get it up to maybe about 70 or so, since we do got over 100 people watching. And let's go ahead and get into some of this content here. Prince Girl, what's good, man? How's it going? Let's go ahead and get into it here. So we're going to start off with the next-gen Xbox rumors. So apparently there are some next-gen Xbox rumors going around. Let me make sure that I pull up the page so I can get exactly what's going on. So apparently this next-gen Xbox is going to be out in 2020, and it consists of two different devices. So it consists of a traditional home console or a box, and then it also consists of a streaming box. And the streaming box and the traditional box are both codenamed Scarlet, and they can work in tandem. So any game that is on Scarlet can be played, like the Scarlet traditional box can also be played on the streaming box, and vice versa. Now, what the streaming box does is that there's a little bit of local computing with it. So it's like the specs of the system are like not as strong. So maybe it's like a original Xbox, or maybe even weaker than that. Not really sure. But the specs of the original Xbox, or not the specs of the streaming box, the specs are going to be lower end, but it's going to be streaming from Microsoft's cloud service and their Azure and all that. So you're going to be able to get all of the latest games or whatever, but it's all streaming. That's what the rumor says. And then they have the traditional console, which would be more like the Xbox One X or the Xbox One S, where you go, you buy the game, you put it in, you probably install it to your hard drive and all of that, and you play games that way. So that's essentially the rumor. That's essentially the rumor with it, and it's coming out in 2020. Now, I've already seen some people hoof dangle in Nintendo for some reason and say, oh, well, Nintendo's not going to be, oh, no, Nintendo's not going to be able to combine it, no, we're never going to get any, oh, like, people just relax. Let me tell you guys something. As somebody who's covered multiple generations of systems, there's always a long lag amount of time between developers actually start making games exclusively for X or Y system after it launches. Even if you go back to the last generation, games still came out on PS3 and 360 well into 2013, 2014, and even 2015. There were games that came out, cross-gen games. There were a lot of cross-gen games. It wasn't really till 2016 to where we kind of stopped seeing cross-gen games. Cross-gen was coming out, so years into the generation, the 8th generation, okay? Same thing happened with the generation before that. There were a ton of cross-gen games on the Xbox 360. Like, almost all of them were cross-gen games. Games like Gun and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I think it was like American's Wasteland. There were just a lot of cross-gen games. That's how it always works, guys. It's always one of those things. So if a development studio wants to make a Switch version of X, Y, or Z game, they will make a Switch version of X, Y, or Z game. If they don't want to make a Switch version of X, Y, or Z game, they will not make a Switch version of X, Y, and Z game. And that's that. If the Switch is successful and has a huge install base, the developers that they have there making Switch games will continue to make Switch games. It's not even like a question. It's like, oh, well, the next Xbox comes out, I guess our Switch division is just going to blow up into pieces. No. If there's money to be made, they will continue making Switch games. Now, when the money stops coming in, then they'll stop making Switch games. But I don't think Nintendo's going to let the whole Switch name and all that die out. I personally feel that with this next-gen Xbox, I think the next-gen PlayStation is probably coming around that time as well. Nintendo's going to make a custom chip. We talked about this on the Spawncast the other day, and I've said this even before then. Nintendo's going to make a custom chip with NVIDIA that's going to be able to do a lot of the modern tasks, like the Tegra can do, a lot of the modern tasks. Maybe it's not as efficient or can't get as many frames or whatever the case is, but they'll make a next-generation Switch system or whatever the case is that can do a lot of the modern tasks, and you'll have a panic button or a Virtuos or somebody that can take the game, even though it's on stronger systems, you can take the game and put it on the Switch. I'm not worried about that. There's absolutely zero reason to worry about that. One, because we don't know what Nintendo's doing. That's just my speculation. But two, there's always multiple years before cross-gen stuff even happens. So I know it's probably kids that in the chat that are freaking out about that because you hear all the stuff online, but take it from somebody who's literally lived through all of the modern generations. Take it from somebody who's started gaming from the NES, okay, and the Super Nintendo, NES and the Super Nintendo, and then literally went through scourging through. I evolved with the internet, and probably a lot of you guys did too. So I'm not trying to put myself above any of you guys here, but if you're 16, if you're 15, 16, 17, 18, even if you're 20 years old, you didn't really grow up in that modern age in terms of when online started getting there. Now, you were a kid when that was happening, but you didn't see all the stuff that happened before that. I literally saw no internet to kind of internet to somewhat kind of internet to broadband to the evolution of IGN to the evolution of all these different websites, chat rooms and all that, and I lived through all of that. And I'm telling you guys, this cross-gen stuff and all that happens every single time. Every time people freak out about certain things, things always have a way of working themselves out unless the company makes a grave mistake or the systems don't sell. If your system sells, then you'll have games, plain and simple. It doesn't matter what the power gap is going to be. People said the same thing. I'll give you guys a perfect example of this. People said the same thing back in 2005, 2006 with the Wii. Oh, it's not going to be able to get this, and this. Developers said, oh, yeah, well, we're not going to make anything on it. It's not powerful enough, or whatever the case is, right? Some developers did. The Wii started selling like crazy, then what happened? We started seeing a bunch of games made specifically for the Wii. Specifically for the Wii, and that could also happen too, or we'll just get ports of some of the games. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy when it comes to it. And the power gap between the Wii and the PS3 and 360 was bigger. It was actually fairly bigger than the power gap between the Switch and the PS4 and Xbox One, in my opinion. Based on what I've seen, I think the power gap is definitely bigger, a lot bigger, and developers still made games like crazy for the Wii, So I don't see them changing anything up. Will there be a number of games at some point that maybe don't come to Switch? Maybe, but who knows how long that's going to take and who knows what Nintendo's going to do. So with this next-gen Xbox, I think it's going to be business as usual. I think it's going to be what Microsoft does. They're going to make a really powerful Xbox, and I think the next Xbox is going to be a little bit more powerful in terms of the GPU side than the Xbox One X, because that system's already, according to Microsoft, 40% more powerful than the PS4 Pro. Think about that. That's what Microsoft says. 40% more powerful. But I think that GPU side, the CPU is still kind of the same bad CPU that's in the Xbox One X, or sorry, in the Xbox One and the Xbox One S. So I think that they're really going to beef up the CPU so you can get your 4K 30, like native 4K 30 frames per second, native 1080p 60 frames per second, no drops. So I don't think it's going to be so much more powerful to the point to where it's going to look so much like crazier, because if developers actually made games for the Xbox One X, I honestly feel that in the future, whatever, you could get an Xbox One Scarlet game and you can get an Xbox One X game, and there wouldn't be too much difference between the two, just because of the law of diminishing returns, and just because I don't think developers actually even used all the power of the Xbox One X, because you had to make sure that the games ran on all the different systems. So I doubt even developers even use the power like that. So that's my thought process on it, at least. Let me go ahead and get into the comments here. If you guys have a comment talking about this, anything to do with this, guys, hold your questions to the end. Other questions that don't pertain to what I'm talking about, hold those to the end. But if you have a question, let me know in the chat. Tag me at Player Essence. And let me know, and I'll make sure to read it off here. So J2 Blue says, Player, since I don't get why people are talking about next-gen consoles now. I know some it's fun to speculate, but I don't see the point in talking about something that doesn't exist yet. Well, it does exist, because Microsoft said that they're already working on their next systems, so that does exist. And source that it comes from is pretty reputable. So it does exist, but I see what you're trying to say. I see what you're trying to say. Remember the 56K internet? I do remember the 56K internet, and I remember being able, not like if you're on the internet, like let's say you're on the internet, like you try to pick up your phone and it goes like net zero. Yeah, man, I remember all of that stuff, dude. So yeah, that was fun back in the day. G5 Mob Gang says, "What's good, player? Since watching you while playing Wolf 2, boy. See that's the first problem that you made, man. I mean, you go from something so horrible to something so great like myself. I mean, it's a big step up, man. It's a big step up. So, but I appreciate that. G5. You still can't believe an Ethernet port isn't built into the Switch dock. Yeah, it's one of those things that they could have put, but they didn't. I mean, you can buy a little dongle for as low as $3 and put it in, so that's not really a big deal." Douglas Gates says, "Player, since what next gen console do you think will come out first?" I think the Xbox will come out first because we're just hearing more, but I think that the PlayStation is going to try to make sure that they come out the same year. So I don't really think that it's going to be like the same as 2013. Sony's not going to let Microsoft get like a whole year's head start like back in 2005. They're gonna whatever year Microsoft launches their system, Sony will launch their system. It'll be fairly close, but I'm guessing that the Xbox is gonna come out technically first, but they're gonna launch right around the same time. Douglas Gates says, "Player, since what next gen console do you?" Oh, I already read that. Prince Gross says, "Player, since plus they need to keep the console at an affordable price, I don't see it being much more powerful than the X. I think the CPU is just going to be a lot better. That's really what it is because there's been a lot of advancements in CPU since 2011, 2010, because that's like the type of CPU that they had in there. So I think there's going to be a lot of CPU advancements. Like games are going to have much more advanced AI. There's going to be a lot. You can have more enemies on screen. It's going to look the same, but it's going to have more enemies on screen, much better AI, new rendering techniques. So they're going to use a lot of tricks. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be like in terms of the GPU power. I don't think it's going to be like it's not going to blow out the Xbox One X unless you want the system to cost, you know, $500, $600, then yeah, it'll blow out the Xbox One X. But it's not going to blow out the Xbox One X. I think the Xbox One X is also, I think that was probably a little bit of a stepping stone, you know, a stopgap to the next one. So I don't think it's going to be 10 times more powerful or anything like that. It's gonna be a nice bump up, but it's going to be more of enhanced graphical rendering, enhanced features, and things like that. That's my opinion, at least. AZ glitches player, since that's really strange. What's the point of streaming box? You still need to be close to the original system and a really good connection. No, you don't need to be close to the original system. Actually, the streaming box they're gonna make it to where you stream from the internet, so not close to the. I mean, you'll probably be able to stream from your Xbox One. So let's say you have your Xbox One X in one room, you can pull from it and stream in the living room. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's like a Steam Link. So that would be just like what a Steam Link can do, or an NVIDIA Shield can do that. So I think the streaming box will do that. So if you want to have one in one room and then one in the other, like it'd be like a Nintendo Switch dock or something, you know, to where you can take it and move it. But that's actually different because it's not streaming. But you guys know what I'm trying to say. If you have like two rooms, you want to have, you know, Xbox games on there. I mean, like the PS Vita TV can do that with the PS4, you know. So I think what it's going to be though is like to where it streams from the internet, to where it's going to be like to where you can actually stream games straight from the internet onto that box as well. NVIDIA Shield can do that too. So I think that's what they're kind of aiming to do. Not that it only streams from the Xbox One X. That's not what it's only going to be. You'll probably be able to, but that's not what it's only going to be. I mean, yeah, you're going to need a strong internet connection. Yeah, that's fact. Yes, you need a strong internet connection. I mean, if you want to have good, you know, good streaming, you got to have a strong internet connection. So yeah. 777AZ says, players, and speaking of console power, does the Fortnite frame rate drop bad when the Switch is docked? I noticed it drops badly when the system is on dock mode. It doesn't drop badly for me. I haven't seen ever since the updates. I don't know when was the last time you played it, but yeah, it doesn't drop. Doesn't really drop for me. For the last time I played it, doesn't. I mean, maybe there's a few drops here and there, but badly, no. Dankbeam Center says, player, since the Xbox needs to have a good CPU that doesn't hinder the graphics card. Well, I think that's easier said than done when you talk about price, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. You have to tag me at Player Essence, or I'm not going to answer your questions, guys. So I see some people asking questions, but I'm not going to answer them if you don't tag me at Player Essence. So Tag me at Player Essence and I'll answer your question. Just because we have 140 people in here watching and everyone's asking questions, I don't know when you guys are talking to somebody else. Not trying to be mean. It's just you got to tag me at Player Essence if you want me to answer your question. Arum says Player Essence. I think the next generation will be more about AI, and for that a good CPU is needed. Exactly. That's what I think too. J2 Blue says, Player Essence, do you think 4K TVs will be required for the next Xbox and PS5? Absolutely not. That'd be ridiculous. The reason why it won't be required, because there's still a good number of people that don't need it, and 4K TVs can also do 1080p and can also do 720p, can also do everything. Like it's up to 4K. It's not just 4K. It's up to 4K. You know, so that would be. I don't think there'd be any need. Require a 4K TV? Absolutely not. That would be a death sentence for them. You know. Shout outs to Amiibo Fan. He says, I'll send you with the $2 donation. First donation of the day. So thank you so much, Amiibo Fan. I do appreciate that. And he says, I'll send you my song request through Twitter. Okay, go ahead and send me that. I'll read off a couple more questions, then I'll check my Twitter in just a bit. Let's see here. Flaws pieces questions. I heard that Phil Spencer said that he wants the next console to have a much better processor. Yeah, they want a much better processor, CPU, exactly. Snow Bunny 426 is Since I agree that not using the full power of the Xbox One X. If they were, they would make games that only could play on the system like Nintendo did with the new Nintendo 3DS. Well, I think Nintendo made one game that can only play on this, or I think there's only 2 games that can play on it. But yeah, I see what you're saying though. But it's not a good business decision to do that, because you have a bunch of people who don't have an Xbox One X, so it's not a good business decision to do that. But yeah, like I think there was Xenoblade Chronicles 3D and Minecraft. Those are the 2 games that you need the new Nintendo 3DS to play. But yeah, let's see here. Dank Beam Center says, Player Essence. So the next generation console are shooting for 4K graphics at native 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second. Also, will 4K TVs be cheaper? 4K TVs are already cheap. You can get them as low as $200 to $300 depending on where you live. I mean, you can get them, like, you can get 4K TVs for $300 something at Walmart. In terms of frames per second, they're not aiming for 4K 120 frames per second. That's not going to happen. I think some games will easily be 4K 60 frames per second. So, like, for example, like, let's say, like, indie games, all of those are going to be 4K 60 frames per second. Do I think all games will be 4K 60 frames per second? No. No, I don't think that's what they're. I think they're aiming for 4K 30, and or potentially, depending on the intensity of the game, a 4K 60 for some. But not all. Like fighting games, yeah, like every single fighting game, yeah, 4K 60 frames per second, but not like the next, like Destiny. I don't think they're going to be like 4K 120 frames per second. Not with the console. Not unless, like I said, unless you guys want the system to be, you know, $1 million or something like that. It was like if I mean, if you want to run 4K 120 frames per second, you need a really beefy PC, and those are going to cost you thousands. So I doubt the next Xbox will be able to do that. Let's see here. Let me check Amiibo Fan's request for music. All right. Sega Smash Pack. I got it. All right. All right. Can you guys hear that? How does it sound? Thank you for the $2 donation, Amiibo Fan. I really do appreciate that, man. All right, Socon 10 says Player Essence. How much will it cost? 400 will be the sweet spot. Well, I don't know how much it'll cost. If I knew, then I would have told you guys already. But yeah, I think 400 is the sweet spot, and then maybe like for the streaming box, maybe 199. Michelle Tackett says Player Essence. I've been playing that. Okay, you're talking about something else, guys. We're still talking about the next gen Xbox rumors. If you want to talk about Nintendo and what you think they're gonna do next or whatever, like anything to do with the next gen rumors, just not random. Oh, I've been playing this. Just like we'll talk about that in a bit once we get into Q&A and comments and all that. Prince Girl says, how many years after the next gen Xbox do you think Nintendo will release another system? I think Nintendo will release another system around that same time. I think we're gonna get like a new Nintendo Switch like around 2020 or something like that. Levon Case says, do you think the Xbox One X will get some of the next Xbox games? Yeah, absolutely. Cross-gen. I've talked about that multiple times. Yeah, there's gonna be cross-gen games. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. No, the Fire Emblem Warriors, you can only play on the new Nintendo 3DS. Yeah. So I think 3 games. So, missed that one. Requis, the Demigods as players, says, with all the pro-consumer things Xbox has been doing, do you think it will give Xbox an advantage? Absolutely, it'll give Xbox an advantage. The more pro-consumer that you can do, the better you'll be off. But I think Microsoft is also a lot of like smoke and mirrors when it comes to pro-consumer stuff. Like they really need to get a hold of their first-party studios. I mean, that's not pro-consumer, what they've been doing with their first party. That's not pro-consumer at all. And their first-party games haven't been great either. They haven't been a real big hit. So I think they need to get a little bit better. But then again, that's just my opinion. Some people might love all their first-party games. So I can't say it's like a fact, what I'm saying, you know. It's just my opinion on that one. Let's see. Suck on this persons. Oh, why do people want 120 frames per second? Isn't 60 frames per second enough? Most people can't even see 120 frames per second. I don't think anybody realistically cares. I think it's just there's just people that like to say stuff, you know, to be honest. Let's see here. AZ glitches persons. This whole next gen talk is really early. Then the new Xbox will probably be showcased at E3 2019 and released 2020. PS5 might take even longer. Sony's not going to let Microsoft get a big jump on them, and I don't think it's really early because we're midway through 2018 and you just said that it's going to be showcased in less than a year. So I mean, I don't think it's too early. That if it's gonna be, if you think it's gonna be ready, AZ Glitch, or they're gonna show it off in 2019, how is it too early to talk about something in less than a year's time? And if we're getting information, so I don't think it's too early at all. If it's coming in, if we're gonna see it in less than a year, I don't think that's too early. So yeah. But yeah, I don't see Sony saying, "Oh yeah, go ahead, Microsoft, go ahead and launch first, and we're not gonna have anything to rival that." No, I don't see Sony doing that at all. So yeah. Let's see here. What's up, Team Alkaline? How's it going, man? Michelle Tackett says, Parsons, I think Halo 6 will be a launch game for the new Xbox. That is a prediction. So not Halo Infinity, not that one. Another Halo game after that. That's gonna be interesting because the new Halo game comes out 2019. So then they'll have another Halo game ready, or which one are you talking about? Nathaniel Ventura says, Parsons, I think the next Xbox is Microsoft plotting themselves to become the next Netflix of video games with Game Pass and buying those studios. Yeah, I don't think that's a stretch to think that Microsoft is wants to be like a Netflix of video games. Yeah, I don't think that's a stretch at all. Jack says you can see 120 frames per second. There's a difference. I don't think the human eye can see that. I don't believe you. No, I don't believe you. I don't think you can really see a difference, a huge difference between 60 frames per second and 120. I don't think your eyes are that fast enough to do so. People like to say that they are, but I don't think so. I don't think so. So we can agree to disagree. Dankbeam Center says, Parsons, in order for the next console to do good, they need to have exclusive titles similar to Sony. They need to not mess up at the beginning, but I don't think they need to have titles similar to Sony. I think they need to just make good games. You don't have to have titles like Sony's. Why does everybody think that you have to copy somebody else in order to have success? You don't. So no, I disagree with that part. But they have to have better first-party titles in terms of the quality of the games. You know. Shout outs to Greg Freeman with the dollar donation through Super Chat. Thank you so much, Greg Freeman. I do appreciate the dollar donation, homie. No message though, so thank you. I appreciate that. What's up? What's up, everything Nintendo? Let's see here. Boy Z says, Parsons, I think the new Xbox is not a good idea. What's the point of having a streaming device? We practically have our phones for streaming apps. Well, your phone isn't a video game system. Your phone isn't the same as having a video game system, holding a controller and hooking it up to a TV. And there's already multiple streaming devices like Nvidia Shield, and there's the Steam Link, and there's other streaming devices that have done okay. So I don't know why it wouldn't be a good idea to have options. They'd have a traditional home console, and they'd also have a box that's cheaper. I don't see what the problem is with that. Why would it be a bad idea? Who cares if there's already phones? So what? That doesn't mean that Microsoft shouldn't make a streaming device that does like Game Pass. Like you buy it, you get like a year's worth of Game Pass for free or something like that. And they continue their Netflix style of thing. They need to put out a streaming box if they really want to promote Game Pass and everything. So I don't see why it's a bad idea. And if it's a lower cost option like they're saying here, if it's $199, why not? I mean, I don't see what the problem is. It's an option for people out there. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. But I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea because streaming boxes aren't expensive. Like everybody can make a streaming box these days. Like Amazon Fire or whatever. All these things that are out there. There's so many different streaming boxes out there. Like what does it matter? You know. You mean Okay, Michelle Attack, you said players. I mean a new sequel, not Halo Infinity. Okay, so they're gonna have Halo Infinity in 2019, then another brand new Halo game in 2020. Okay, that'd be interesting. It'd be tough. NYX's person's drop Astro World, and I feel like Nintendo. What's drop Astro? I don't know what that is. I feel like Nintendo and Sony are just going to dominate. Microsoft still lacks exclusives. A reason to own it. If you have Windows 10, you don't need an Xbox. Well, there's convenience. There's other things that play a part into it in terms of that. And if Microsoft can make better exclusives, then then they'll be okay. Like, we didn't have this discussion last generation because Microsoft had better exclusives. So they've had good exclusives before. They can get them back. It's just a matter of really investing into them. My phone is a video game system. Yeah, man. Jaquan Evans' player since. Okay, you're talking about something else. Nathaniel Ventura says player since people are forgetting that the next Xbox is a family of systems. Oh, if you don't want to stream it, or if you don't want to stream it, it won't affect you. Exactly. If you don't want to stream it, it won't affect you. So I don't see why it's a bad idea. I don't think that's bad. Nothing wrong with streaming boxes. There's tons of streaming boxes out there that can play video games. Let's see here. Ryu Kaga says, since I hope the next gen doesn't use the power of gimmicks with the graphics, like you can see an NPC from the top of the mountain, but the NPC is of no value. It's just there to show off. Okay, so like draw distance. I guess that's not exactly what you're talking about, but like having a bunch of stuff that you couldn't do before, like a bunch of people that are all in the background, like 5 million people are in the background, but that doesn't affect gameplay and all that. So yeah, I think that there's going to be a combination of that. Yes, there's going to be window dressing. Yes, there's going to be stuff that they do just because. I mean, there's lots of games that even do that now, like shock value and graphics. This is what Western developers sell their games on. This is why they don't like Nintendo systems, because Nintendo doesn't provide the best type of tools for shock value and graphics, because that's how they sell their games, not on the actual gameplay. The gameplay, in my opinion, in a lot of these Western games is thirdary. The first thing that you need to do is graphics. Make sure the game looks amazing. The second thing that you need to do is shock value. Make sure that your story or whatever you're putting in there makes people feel a certain way. And then third is maybe gameplay. And then fourth is controls. So, in my opinion, those are the order in what a lot of Western developers make games. Graphics, like they get into like, what is it? Those controlled spaces, test rooms, and they talk to gamers and ask them a question like, what do you think? And graphics, So I think that's what a lot of Western developers do. So I don't think that's going to change. I don't think that's going to change much. Let's see here. AZ Glitches player since PS4 already has a streaming app for Android, but they deleted it for some reason. Okay, well they also have the PS Vita TV and PS4 or PS Vita that can stream as well. So AZ, let's see here. Amiibo Fences player since what rare IP do you? Okay, okay. Hold up. Okay, never mind. That is a question. So what rare IP do you think might get a reboot for Project Scarlet? Bet is on Conquer. I would say Perfect Dark. I think that would be the game that they would do, like on Xbox One X, Windows 10, and also on Scarlet. I would say Perfect Dark, not Conquer. Let's see here. Request the Demigods is player since will you get the new Xbox or the PS5 first? I'll be getting both of them. It just depends on whatever comes out, whenever I feel like it, or how much extra money I have at the time. It just depends. Michael O'Brien says, players since would a streaming box that could cope with the latest games not be very powerful and therefore expensive? I'm not sure on technology. No, a streaming box would be using Microsoft's cloud system. So based on your internet connection, that's how many details they'll have. And I'll get that donation in just a bit. Thank you. I'll read off that in just a bit. But it'll be based on how strong your internet connection is and how strong Microsoft's cloud platforms are. Because remember, it's running from a server, a huge supercomputer. So if you were there in person, the graphics would be amazing, But it's streaming over the internet, so it's based on your latency. It's based on that. So if your internet connection is bad, it's not going to look as good. It's going to lag. There's going to be latency. If your internet connection is really good, you can actually pull more data. You can get a better visuals. So it's going to be based. It's going to be based on that. But it's going to be cheaper since you're not going to need as many components in the actual box itself. So that's why it's going to be cheaper. That's why, like a Steam Link, for example, a Steam Link, they're selling those for as low as like $20. And I think they launched. I got mine for like $5, and I think Steam Links launched at like $50 because you're just streaming. It's based on your internet. You know, how good the game looks is based on your internet. There's a little bit of computing in there, I think, but not much. You know, not much. So, shout outs to Greg Freeman with the $2 donation through Super Chat. And he says, 4K Switch is a must to compete against Xbox and PS5. No, 4K Switch is not a must to compete against them because, one, Nintendo's not really competing against Microsoft and Sony. Nintendo's going their own route, which I've talked about multiple times. Nintendo's in the route of just making fun games. They're in the route for that. Anybody who wants to make great games, they can make a game on there. Nintendo is not competing in that same way. So no, a 4K Switch is not a must to compete against them. You can't take your PS5 or your Xbox One X or your Scarlet, you can't take it outside. Whereas with the Switch, you'll be able to take it outside. You'll be able to take it anywhere that you want. That already opens up a whole new demographic of gamers who want to play games in that way, want to lie down in bed, and play games, want to play Pokemon with their friends at school. So no matter what, Nintendo's going to have that market on lock. I mean, look at the Nintendo 3DS, you know. 70-something million units sold, and with literally zero Western third-party support in terms of major Western developers. They've got some indie developers and everything, but in terms of major Western developers, literally like zero support. And it's still around and kicking, still around and doing well. So I don't think they're going to try to compete with them in that way with the Switch. No, at least not right away. But thank you for the $2 donation, Greg Freeman. I do appreciate that. Let's see here. Rambo Force says, player, since is the Xbox brand strong enough to bounce back after losing to Sony and soon to lose Nintendo Switch in sales? Yeah, it's strong enough because, I mean, you talk about losing, but they didn't really lose anything. I mean, the Xbox still sold 30-something million consoles, probably top out at 40 to 50 million when it's all said and done for the old Xboxes. So, you know, I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That beats the original Xbox. Doesn't get to the Xbox 360, but the Xbox 360 would blow up on you, and a lot of people bought multiple systems. So I think that's around what Microsoft's sweet spot is. Like Microsoft, without any type of crazy thing going on, without Sony and Nintendo messing up, or without Sony messing up so bad, I think the Xbox is generally, you're going to sell around maybe 30 to 40 million Xboxes. That's what Microsoft can do. You know, and I've talked about this before, not to go too much into depth with this, but you know, sometimes you're not better than somebody else. No matter what you want to say or do, sometimes you're not better than the next guy. You got to accept your place, you know. And I think that's what Microsoft has kind of came to terms with. Accept your place. You're not going to be, not everyone's going to be as good in basketball as Michael Jordan, you know. It doesn't matter how hard you train. It doesn't matter what you do. You can shoot hoops all day. You can run up the cliffs and down. You can do everything you want. But the chances of you, back when Michael Jordan was playing, the chances of you being better than Michael Jordan were slim to none. You know? The chances of that happening were slim to none because Michael Jordan is just better. So, or whatever X player is just better. You know, Scottie Pippen or Magic Johnson, whatever the case is. So, there's something you can do. Sometimes you're just not as good as your opponent, and you just got to do the best that you can do. You know? And I think that plays into anything. YouTube, subscribers, whatever. Sometimes you're not going to be as good as the next person. All you can do is just focus on yourself and do the best that you can do. So I think that's what it comes down to with Microsoft, man. Leo Aguilar says, player essence, I don't feel that Microsoft should go for cloud gaming unless it is a proof concept that is sustainable in terms of gaming that could hurt them like Crackdown 3 delay. Well, I mean, I think that they've already invested too much. I think it's a little bit too late for that. I think it's a little bit too late for that in terms of them going back on that, Leo. They're not going to go back on it. Shout out, we got a Streamlabs donation. So shout outs to the first Streamlabs donations. Thank you guys so much. Or whoever, my live ticker is not working. Come on, here we go. First Streamlabs donation. Thank you so much, guys. Streamlabs is very user friendly, so I do appreciate Prince Goro using Streamlabs for the donation. $1.99. He says, I can see a lot of retailers not being happy with streaming next gen systems. Can you play, is it a Lucian Dance from Ease 8? I don't see why they wouldn't be happy. Well, actually, you know, I see why they yeah, I can see what you're talking about. Yeah, you're right. I don't think there's a lot that would be completely happy with that. Yeah, you're right. I tried to think about it. I was like, oh no, you're actually right about that. Yeah, but at least there's still the traditional Xbox for them there. So there you go. Let's see here. You guys hear it? Thank you once again, Prince Girl, for the $1.99 donation, man. Appreciate that. Let's see. Nick says, player, since 1080p OLED screen on the next Switch. I would hope so. Douglas Gates says, player, since is streaming more vulnerable to hacking? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not sure. Turn it up. Somebody says, sounds good. Turn it up. I'll turn it up a bit. If you guys have any more questions on this, let me know. Tag me at Player Essence, and I'll be more than happy to read off your question. Guys, any random questions that aren't talking about the next gen Xbox, next gen Switch, or next gen PlayStation, hold those to the end. We'll have a Q&A at the end, so you can ask me those questions at the end. Steve, I only play music on donations. Otherwise, we'll have people doing exactly what you're doing, just blurting out random music for me to play. Hollow says, speaking of the next gen console, no more paid online for the next gen. Pay for online is so dumb. Steam does it for free. Me excuses anymore. No excuses anymore. No, that's not going to happen. Because the problem with Steam is that Steam, all the publishers pay for those from their servers. Steam is a different beast. It's all digital. There's all different types of ways that Steam cuts costs and does things compared to Microsoft and Sony, which is a hardware manufacturer provider. So in order for them to be able to even turn a profit the way that they do, they have to have memberships. They supply physical versions of games. Valve does not do that. Valve has a lot of developers who have their own servers, and Valve just kind of connects you to them. So it's a very different process. It's all digital. So no, unless you want Microsoft. Now, if you want, Microsoft could turn exactly into Steam, to where everything is just digital. You get no physical copies. They take out all the middlemen and all that stuff, and then yeah, maybe there'd be no online fees. But how the businesses are set up now and how it's set up to make profit because they take losses, or it's even on the system itself. There's no way that they're going to say, oh yeah, let's give up 40 million people or 30 million people or however many million people paying $60 a year. That is revenue that they absolutely need. If they cut that out, they wouldn't be around. I'll tell you that right now. In terms of how modern games are made, if they cut out and then provided the same type of online gameplay that you guys get with PlayStation and with Microsoft, and type of maintenance and all the different money that they spend to run servers that Microsoft has at their own servers, if they didn't charge you for that, you would not see Microsoft and Sony in the same way that you have right now. Or the online play would still be like the PS2, or would still be like the Wii. There's no way, there would be no true evolution in the online play. So yeah, you got to stop being cheap and just buy it, or you can just play on Steam if paying for online is too much for you. So yeah, but yeah, you don't understand the business behind it, and that would be an absolute atrocious business move by Microsoft and Sony. Like that would be, there'd be. You can't. You can't. The investors would revolt. Like Microsoft would drop. There'd be no way. If they weren't making any revenue from my Xbox Live, there'd be no Xbox around. I can 100% guarantee you there'd be zero Xbox around. There'd be no Xbox. Sony, they might still be around, but it would be slim pickings, my boy. They would not have anywhere near as much money to invest and do what they do. It would be rough on these streets. Ask the PlayStation 3. Ask that. So let's see here. Guys, hold on to your other questions until the end. I will be answering questions at the end of the Q&A at the end. So right now we're talking about next gen Xboxes, next gen Switch, or rumors that we're talking about that. If you guys want, we can move on to the next topic here. We can discuss more risks from the West, but I won't be answering any questions that are not pertaining to the topic until the end. So hold on to those, and we'll answer those in a bit. Let's see here. Rambo Forces player, since I think Microsoft learned from the Switch and will have an amazing lineup at launch. Do I agree? No, I don't agree. Considering that Nintendo, all they had was Zelda. So, I mean, was that an amazing launch, or was it an amazing game that helped push the launch? So, I mean, they had some indie games that were really good. Obviously, they had like Shovel Knight, they had Firestar Max, they had some games, but all they had was Zelda. Will Microsoft have a game? Will they have a game as good as Zelda? Probably not. So no, I don't agree with that. No. No, I don't agree. Let's see here. Grubby K9 says, "Places, I'm glad it turned up. You turned it up. Okay, yeah, I did turn it up in terms of the music. Okay." All right, guys, so let's go and move on to the next topic here, guys. We're going to talk about more risks from the West. So I'll be having a video on this. I'll probably have it tomorrow morning or in the afternoon video. Just to let you guys know, if you're new to my channel, please hit that like button, first of all. Hit that like button, guys. We're at 84 likes. We have 158 people watching, but we're only at 84 likes. We should be able to get to 100 here. But if you don't know, I do videos every single day starting out at 6 a.m. my time PT. So if you live on the East Coast, that is 9 a.m. So every single day, you're going to get multiple videos at 6 a.m. or 9 a.m. ET every single day, and videos all throughout the day. Usually I do one video at 6, that's the guaranteed one. Then you'll have a midday video. Then you'll have a night video before our live stream that we do at 6 o'clock. So make sure you guys are just in tune with the schedule and checking out the content when you're on your lunch break or when you're, get home from work. Watch what videos you can so you're informed on everything before we head into the live streams. All right, so let's go ahead and let's move on to the next topic here, guys. More risks from the West. So I talked about this because I think Octopath has kind of opened the eyes of a lot of different developers out there, especially third-party developers. Octopath is one of those games that a lot of people didn't think could sell as well as it's selling, and we don't see these type of risks. We don't see these type of third-party games from major Western developers on the Nintendo Switch, and I think it's time that we see that. But I think that we just need more risks in general. But just to kind of talk about this, like, where are the games that are exclusive or whatever the case is on the Switch from Western developers where they say, hey, we're going to prioritize gameplay first, like Octopath did? Octopath is all about the gameplay. Obviously, the graphics are unique because they're pixelated. They're like an old school game, and like there's a lot of like panning and zooming in and some cool stuff that they do with the presentation of the game. But the game is not like a super intense graphical game outside of some like really awesome lighting effects, but the game, the reason why it's as good as it is because of the gameplay. The gameplay is so fleshed out. It's so well done. The level design, the countrysides, the enemies, the battle systems, the strategies, everything is so well done. So when will we see Western developers take the chances with a game that's focusing on gameplay? That's kind of what I want to see, because I talked about this a little bit earlier. Western developers often tend to focus on graphics first. Graphics, presentation, sometimes even music, sometimes even not. A lot of Western music sounds the same. And then gameplay to me is a very distant type of thing, because they already have Call of Duty. Like, you want to make a shooter? Well, just make it just like Call of Duty. So they just use a Call of Duty template. It's like let's say you're, in you're in PowerPoint. They have those templates for certain, like a title template and all that. They just take the template of Call of Duty and slap it onto something, and then there you go. There's your base. So the gameplay is already taken care of. Like, you don't even have to focus on the gameplay. Now you have to make sure that there's no bugs. I think Q&A is big on there, making sure that there's no bugs and glitches and all that. But the template that they use is Call of Duty 4 for pretty much every single shooter. It's just Call of Duty 4. Every single shooter plays like Call of Duty 4, looks like Call of Duty 4, or not looks, but plays like Call of Duty 4. So to me, and they add layers on top of it. Like I said, template, and then they add layers on top of that. So I'm wondering when Western developers, major ones, are going to take a little bit more chances, whether it's exclusives on the Switch, whether it's just games that have more gameplay, more deeper gameplay elements than just that same base template. I would love to see that, but it's tough because these developers, they have to make a lot of money, and a lot of people like the base template in terms of what's going on there. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen in the future, like what could potentially happen and what would go on there. But that's just my thought process, guys. What do you guys think about this? Let me know your thoughts on it. I'd love to read off some comments. If you want me to read off your comment, you have to tag me at Player Essence, all one word. Make sure you spell it right. Tag me at Player Essence, just so it highlights in orange for me. So there you go. Prince Goros is Player Essence. I think you made a great point. Once when you said Western developers don't need Nintendo, unfortunately. Yeah, you're right about that. That's on topic here. Western developers don't need Nintendo. I would say Western developers also don't care about Nintendo, which is fine. That's not a big deal. I don't care if they don't care. So yeah. DJ King Gaming says, player since only risk from Western developers on Switch is Mario plus Rabbids. But you know, the funny thing about that is that yes, it's a risk, and that's actually I guess it was somewhat of a risk, but it wasn't. You have the power of Mario, so I mean the risk is mitigated just a bit. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Mario plus Rabbids was definitely a big risk. That's like a strategy Mario game that's never been done before. You know, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, it was a risk, but it was a good one. It was definitely a good one. Let's see. B More Akuma says, and this is the reason why many of the Western games has the tendency to not be good. So a pretty exterior, but plays like ish. Yeah, man. Like well, whether it's good or not, I guess that's opinion, right? Like, you know, G5, he's a huge Nintendo fan, but he loves Wolfenstein. Some people like the base template of the same thing. You know, some people like that. So it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. No says, plus it's the last portable I remember with a mix of Western and Japanese support was the PSP. Sad that Western developers aren't trying to jump on Switch. I don't think it's sad. It's just what they want to do. The difference with the PSP is that the PSP, the games are way cheaper to develop for. So you could make, I mean, literally you're making SD games or below that. It wasn't as strong as a PS2. So it was very cheap. So they just used their PS2 engines and just put out games, you know, on there. That's the reason. With the Switch, it's HD, the development. And the thing about it is that the Switch is powerful enough to the point to where you could technically put your bigger game on there. PSP got a lot of side story type of games that weren't the full experience. I noticed people saying, oh, why don't they put that on Switch? Well, the reason why is because it would look bad. Because it's like, okay, well, why are you putting this toned down version of it when we get the full version of Wolfenstein on the Switch, and we get the full version, pretty much the full version of Doom, and we get pretty much the full version of all these other games, whereas PSP did not have the full versions of the PS3 game or whatever the case it was. It was always a micro version of the game, so it was a lot cheaper to develop on. Switch, not the same thing. So a lot of Western developers aren't going to take those risks, like I said, and make those type of games that are made for the system because of the cost of development. Whereas you saw it with the DS. You saw it with the DS and PSP because of the price, because of the cost it was to develop. You know, now that the Switch is more in tune with a full-fledged console, that cost isn't there. So yeah. Boise says, player since what's your opinion on the Xbox saying no to PlayStation last? Okay, yeah, that's not anything that we're talking about right now. Hold on to that till the very end, and we'll talk about that. Alonzo Vine says, since I think it's a gaming problem in general. Western developers lack creativity, and a lot of Japanese developers trying too hard to be like Western developers. I would say, yeah, there's definitely a mix of those two. You have a lot of Western developers that are definitely make no creativity, like dry. Like I said, like the Wolfenstein is probably, you know, the driest, most boring game that I've ever, like modern game that I've ever played in my life. Like it is so, like, it's like they went into work and they just said, develop, no fun. Even though Wolfenstein has a trippy story, you know, the story they had fun. So I'm pretty sure they had fun with the story and making that, but the gameplay, they just like, same thing as we've done forever. Like robots made robots made the gameplay in Wolfenstein. Like they just robotically made the gameplay in there. So I see what you're saying. And yeah, there are a number of. I think Final Fantasy 15 is a perfect example of what you said with Japanese developers. I don't know what was going on with that game, but that game tries so hard to be Western, and it's funny. It's tried so it's a bunch of like Japanese dudes that are trying their hardest to act like Americans. That's what I feel Final Fantasy 15 is. It's like, how can we try as hard as possible? We're Japanese, but how can we try as hard as possible to be American? You know, so you know, I think that's what Final Fantasy 15 is. Snow Bunny 426's player since sadly I'm noticing a lot of Western developers are trying to move to the multiplayer online, like trying to tap into the MMO money market. Well, you have to at this point. I think that the market has forced Western developers to move into the online multiplayer because a lot of guys aren't buying games unless guys, girls, everybody, that's what I just mean by that, are not buying games unless it has online multiplayer. So I think that they've been put in a bad situation because like Wolfenstein 2, right? Like that game was praised up and down by everybody, right? And we're talking, like, obviously I don't like the game, but there's a lot of hardcore Western guys that are, oh yeah, Wolfenstein, yeah, Wolfenstein, oh, you know, and then like the sales came out and the game doesn't sell anywhere near as much as Doom, you know, Doom 2016. So which has multiplayer. So I think they kind of have to at this point. Let's see here. I did not pick up that about Final Fantasy. Did you say 14 at all? What do you mean to judge? I wasn't talking about Final Fantasy 14. I think I said Final Fantasy 15. 15, not 14. If I said 14, my bad. I meant Final Fantasy 15. Prince Goro says, player, since I would like Western developers to make more original IPs for the Switch, like Red Steel or the Conduit. Absolutely. I think we got those type of games, though, because they were dirt cheap to develop on. You know, the Wii was a dirt cheap system to develop on. You can reuse engines that you've already used for multiple years, so you could put together really small teams. I mean, like, the teams that made, like, the Conduit, the teams that made, like, Red Steel were, like, tiny, dude. They're, like, 20 people each, you know, something like that. High Voltage is technically an independent developer that got a contract through Sega to make the game. So I mean, like, they were just small teams that were making games that were cool. But like with the Switch, it's like you can't do the same thing. If you want to make a quality game, you have to almost put as much time and effort that you would make into putting it on PS4 and Xbox One, which a lot of Western developers just aren't going to do. They're just not going to take the time to do that. So yeah. Player since Michelle Tackett says Octopath Traveler over Western dry games any day. Well, it just depends on what game. I mean, I think that there's games like that I really like that are Western, like BioShock Infinite. That game's not dry. That game's cool. You got like powers, you got like a good story, you got solid gameplay. Like it got a little bit of soul. BioShock Infinite has a little bit of soul to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then Irrational Games got blown up. That's another reason why like a lot of developers say, okay, well, can we trust single player games? Because like from what I understand, like BioShock Infinite sold okay, like, but why did Irrational get blown up? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is there not a new BioShock game? Like, what happened? Like, I thought BioShock Infinite did well enough, but apparently it didn't, you know? So well, the judge, that's my opinion on Final Fantasy 15. You can disagree if you want to, but in my opinion, they tried so hard to be a Western game, it's funny. But obviously they still have Japanese things in there, but they tried their hardest to be a Western, like a Western type of action RPG, and didn't necessarily work all the way. One of the big things with Western RPGs, now I know that they fixed it, but one of the big things with Western RPGs is that like you use one character and like you can't switch off of the character, like you just use like one character the whole time, like Geralt or something like that, or like Skyrim dude, you know, or Fallout dude, and like you can have companions, but you can't switch to them. That's like a staple in Western RPGs. And Final Fantasy 15, when it first launched, you can't switch off Noctis, which is insane. For most Japanese RPGs, you can always switch characters. Like, you don't have to play as one character. Like, you can always switch characters, or you control the other characters. Not so much in Final Fantasy 15. So that kind of took me like, oh, okay, wow, really? Okay, you know. Let's see. Avidin. Shout outs to my boy Avidin Smith. What's good, man? He says, what's good, my guy? Just dropping by to say what up. Gonna eat dinner and head back to work. Keep up the great work, my dude. Thank you so much, Avidin. Appreciate that. Make sure you drop your channel link, dude. Let people know where they can find you, Avidin. Shout outs to Chloe Fire 102E with the subscription as well. Thank you so much, Chloe Fire. Do appreciate that. Welcome to Elite Ninja Village of Player Essence. Everyone in the chat, if you got those headband emotes, please spam it for my boy or girl, Chloe Fire 102. Excuse me. Ataki, the Ashen Knight, says, do you think that if the developer wants to make a multiplayer-focused game, then should do that only and not half but a story mode? The same for a single-player-focused game? I think that developers, in terms of today's day, they should make multiplayer games with single-player modes. I think that's the thing. Like, make like a 8 or 9 hour single-player campaign, then make like a multiplayer mode. I think that's that's what you got to do. Like, you got to do it like, you know, like that, in my opinion. Make a single player mode that lasts maybe anywhere from like 6 to 9 hours, and then make a full-fledged multiplayer mode. But you kind of have to shift things more towards multiplayer, so to make sure the multiplayer is balanced and good and there's enough content for people to keep coming back. Sock Content says, player, since game industry just released an article saying that the CEO of Take-Two is pleased with the game sales and promised to be releasing more games on the Switch. I already covered that, Sock Content, so I don't know if did you watch my video or not, but I already covered that. So that's just a random thing. That's not That's not what we're talking about right now. Well, I guess more risk from Western developers. Okay, no, that is, you're right. But yeah, I already talked about. I made a video on that. So hopefully you watch my video on that. So I mean, the statement that you made it seem as if I didn't know about it. You know, I would have liked for you to open up with, "Hey OJ, I watched your video. I know you made a video on what Take-Two said about the Nintendo Switch." You know, that's what I would have liked to hear you start up with. But I think you kind of started up with as if I didn't know about that, or you were trying to tell me that, "Hey, did you hear about it?" So, not so happy about that. But I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you'll watch my video, or you know that I already talked about that yesterday. So, hopefully you did though. I'm thinking you did, right? Sock Content. I'm thinking you did, right? Okay, cool. Let's see here. The judge is person. Okay, that makes sense. When you say guys, I misinterpreted you meant saying they tried to make in characters American regarding the game. Well, the characters are like Western, are they not? They're all white dudes. Like the only person that I think would maybe pass for Japanese is Noctis. Everybody else is easily like an Englishman. What's his name? The guy who cooks. You have the big dude. Forgot his name with the tattoos that has like the tribals. And then you have the blonde, then you have the skinny blonde guy. So they're literally all Americans, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I wasn't saying like actually like that's what I'm just saying like they were trying to make a game that was easily geared towards the Western audience, you know. So Vizion says, Plarisons are some of the games you have listed you have inside info big Western made games? There's always big Western made games coming. Yeah, there's some stuff that you guys will find out about later. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, Ignis, Gladio is a Argentus. No, Prompto. Yeah, Prompto, Gladio. Ignis is the cooking dude, Gladio's the big dude, and Prompto's the skinny dude, skinny blonde. What's up, Artist of Caravan? How's it going? Let's see here. MPW 2073 says, Polaris says most of the innovation gameplay wise comes from the indie space. The big companies seem to prefer gambling on online services type of games these days. Yeah, and which is it's unfortunate, but that's just like the way of the trade, man, at this point. Think Beam Center says, Polaris, I think most Western developers don't want to put I think you meant fourth the cash to develop quality games on Nintendo Switch because they may consider the Switch an inferior console compared to PS4. I don't think that's it. The Switch isn't as, obviously the specs aren't there, but it's not about that. I think they don't want to put the money. It's not about comparing it to PS4. It's not it at all. Basically, what it is that they don't want to do it because they don't feel their games like are going to sell. They don't feel like it's going to be a worthwhile business investment. Not because it's not. You know, it's not as good as PS4 because I mean, look at the Wii. Like I said, look at the Wii. Look at the Wii. Look at the DS. Look at the PSP. Look at all those systems. Those were clearly inferior to other systems out on the market, but it still got those. It's about development costs and if it's going to sell or not, and like what the fan base is doing. And a lot of Western developers just don't feel that they need Nintendo. There's another thing too. Back when those systems came out, like the other systems, like microtransactions, the online and all that was not as in effect as it is now. Like with all the extra revenue developers are making on microtransactions and all that, do you need to just make a Switch version? Like I said, I don't think developers care enough. They don't feel that they need to, so therefore it doesn't get done. If you don't need to do something, you will not do it. Most people, if you do not need, you know, to do something, then you're just not going to do it. Like if you do not need to go to the bank, maybe you could if you want to. Maybe you have a couple dollars in your wallet, you know, and you wanna just deposit it so you don't spend it on something stupid. Do you need to go to the bank? No, you don't need to. You could, but do you need to? No. You'll go there when you have a question, or you'll go there when you need to take out more money, and whatever the case is. So I think that's really what it is. Do they need to support the Nintendo Switch? No. So therefore, they're not going to do it. Now, some developers do feel that they can make some money. Some developers feel that they can, you know, spread their influence, so they decide to invest. Bethesda is one of them. But other developers are just like, nope, don't need to. So that's essentially what it comes down to. Essentially what it comes down to, man. Couple dollars in your pockets. We're talking, David Guido, we're talking about more risks from the developers in the West. We're talking about more risk from the developers in the West. And also, Octopath Traveler giveaway, guys. Let me go ahead and remind you about that. We do have an Octopath Traveler giveaway. Make sure you guys check that out. I'll drop a link in the chat right there. Octopath Traveler giveaway for all my new ninja to the village. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and move into Q&A. We're about, what are we? We're an hour 16 into the podcast or into the live stream. So we're going to go ahead and move into Q&A, guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, topics, now is your time to mention those. You can definitely do so now. So go ahead and let it rip. I'm in it to win it. Yeah, man. In it to win it. Team Alkaline says, Polaris, did Cook pay up? Cook has not paid up yet. No, he's not paid up. So he keeps on delaying. I don't know if he's going to, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Not yet. Cook did not pay up net. You have no questions. All right. You were saying that the pig is the next best console. Yeah, that pig joke is getting kind of old now, Jaquan Evans. But yeah, keep on. You can say whatever you want. But that pig joke is getting a little bit crusty, a little bit Wolfensteinish to me. How far are you thus far in Octopath? It doesn't matter how far I am. I'm 30 hours in. Prince Goro says, player, since do you think Nintendo will ever release another powerful console again like the GameCube to get Western developers to fully support it? That's not the reason why Western developers, well, it is some of the reason. It's some of the reason why. Not the reason why. Will they ever do that to get Western developers to fully support it? No, I think it's based on, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to. I don't think Western developers are what drives the Nintendo system for good sales either. If you make a system, so essentially what you're saying is, do you think Nintendo will ever make a system that's exactly like the other two systems? That's essentially what it is. The GameCube had a great Western support. The GameCube was cheap. The GameCube was easy to develop for, and it sold the worst out of the three. So making a system that's the best for Western developers to make on doesn't necessarily guarantee success. GameCube is proof of that. So no, I don't think Nintendo's just going to copy other systems. No, I don't think we'll ever see that. I think we're going to get Switch is going to be what they do going forward. And I think eventually Microsoft and Sony will be making streaming boxes and Switches for people to buy. You'll be able to just buy a streaming box that can also play games, but streaming box, and then you'll also have a handheld unit that you can take anywhere. I think other Microsoft and Sony are going to copy Nintendo at some point, way down in the future. Once mobile technology gets as good as big box technology, I think that they will. But like I said, that could be 20, 30, 40 years from now. Who knows how long, you know. Boise says, Parsons, what if the next Super Smash Brothers game is a 3D arena brawler? It won't be. Think Meme Center says, Parsons, do you know that the Mii Fighters and Super Smash Brothers Ultimate will not have custom moves not confirmed? I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. Prince Girl says, Parsons, do you think Nintendo will ever really? Okay, I already read that. Let's see here. No says, Parsons, do you hate it when companies create false hope for games? Square Enix shouldn't be considering Dragon Quest. Shouldn't be considering Dragon Quest X when they can't release most of the Dragon Quest games outside of Japan. I don't know what you're asking me. I don't know what that is. Artist Akira says, Parsons, how was your day? My day was good. 777AZ says, Parsons, did Nintendo have help with the Switch from Apple? Is that why Mario Run hit the Apple Store? Nintendo didn't have help from Apple with the Switch. No, I don't think so. Not from what I know. Parsons, Jaquan Evans says, sorry. You don't have to apologize. You're free to say whatever you want. I just said the joke is getting Wolfenstein crusty, dude. That's all I said. Is it Braxton? Braxton says, Parsons, what you think about Spider-Man PS4 Pro? I made a video on it, so make sure you check out my video. You can get my full thoughts. It looks okay. Did I make a video on it? Wait. I don't know if I made a video on it. Never mind. I don't know if I did. So what I think, it looks cool, but it's just a Spider-Man PS4 Pro. I already have a PS4 Pro. Let's see here. Are you getting the X collection tomorrow? Clint, man, make sure you tag me at Player Essence. I just saw your comment, but tag me at Player Essence if you want me to ask a question, or if you want to ask a question. I might get it, I might not. It just depends if I feel like going outside. Is it Mataseo? I probably said that wrong. Predictions on Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate sales: 500,000 units. Boise says, "Player Essence, what if the next?" Oh, did I already read that? I already read that. I think we said this is Douglas Gates says, "Player Essence, do you think Microsoft is going to get more heavy with the games from Japanese developers for next gen?" No. Terrence Gotham says, "Places, do you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?" No, I don't. I don't have cable or anything like that. Sins Huang says, "Places, from what I used to heard some say that it was because of Nintendo use small disc for GameCube, so that's why the devs just back up." That's, some people say that, but I don't think, no, that's not the truth at all. Most developers say that the GameCube was easy to develop for and good. And if you look at the GameCube's library, it had a ton of Western games. Like, so people say and say, "Oh, well, it's because of the small disc," but look at the GameCube's library. It has all the Call of Duties, it has all the Maddens, it has all the sports games, it has a ton of Western games, it has a bunch of Western games, it has Need for Speed, it has all this crap on there from Western developers, you know. So I don't. People are talking about mini discs, but there's all these games on there from Western developers. So I don't see why people say that, because the GameCube had a ton of Western support. It had a lot of Western support. So why are people talking about mini discs? Like, why are people, "Oh, that was a problem"? Was it? Why is there every single Call of Duty? Why is there every single Madden? Why is there every single sport game? Why is there all these Western games? Like, you can go in, and there are so many Western games on the GameCube, you know? So I don't see that as an issue. Batman says, "Player, since news on the new Shin Megami Tensei 5, no news. Wait till we have Tokyo Game Show coming up. Wait till then, at least." Is it Requise the Demigod says, "Player, since who is your favorite game company besides Nintendo?" Favorite game company besides Nintendo? That's tough. Nintendo makes the games that I like to play a lot. I'd probably say like Atlas. Like, yeah, like Atlas. Yeah, Atlas is good. Or like Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco or Atlas. J2 Blue says, "Player, since do you think Zero from Mega Man X could get in Smash Ultimate?" Probably like a skin. I don't think like an actual character, no. Excuse me. Think Meme Center, that meme is stupid. Deadlock 7 says, "Player, since I managed to get Octopath recently, loving it. I think the obvious success it is having is going to encourage similar old school with a twist games to be developed for Switch." Yeah, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. No, says, "Player, since pretty much what I'm asking is creating hope for something to happen, but probably wouldn't. Namco said that they will consider Tales of Innocence R if Hearts did well, but they didn't." Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, some developers do it, some developers don't. Stop being, don't cuck to these developers when it comes to, you know, when it comes to these games, man. Like, don't try to create false hope, and please, like, this is the reason why you don't do that. Because if you don't do that, and if you don't think, if your thought process isn't that way, then you're not sitting here begging and pleading for please for this game. Like, just play the games that developers want to give you. If they give you it, then buy it. Don't sit there and try to hope and plead for stuff. Don't beg for things, and then you won't have that false hope. You know what I'm saying? Don't beg, don't plead. If they want to release Tales of Heart or whatever, then they'll do it. But I'm tired of having to beg and plead for localizations or beg and plead for this game. It's like, this is what creates problems and being upset. So I don't want to be upset. So I'm not going to do it. So if I were you, that's my advice, is to not worry about that. Like, if they don't want to do it, then they won't do it. There are so many other games to play. For every game that you say, man, that game didn't come over, there's 5 or 6 games that you probably haven't. There's probably 100 games that you haven't played. For every one game that you say, I wish came over, or hopefully this happens, there's 100-something games that you haven't played that you could be playing instead, that have came over, or that you have access to. So that's my thought process, man. T. Macklin says, "Persons, have you ever been to Japan?" No, I haven't. Are you not planning to going there? If not, are you planning on going there? I read that wrong. Yeah, I plan on going to Japan at some point. David answers, "Places, have you heard any release date for Shinobi Reflex Samurai Kagura, since it's supposed to be coming out in the summer?" I haven't heard any solid release date. We'll just have to wait on that. How good was the GameCube's Japanese support? It was really good. GameCube had great support. GameCube had Japanese support. GameCube had Western support. It had both. James Walter says, player, since do you think Sony will allow Level 5 to create Dark Cloud 3 for PS4 or PS5? No, not for PS4. Maybe in the future we see like Dark Cloud, but I mean I don't think so. I think maybe Sony's moved on from that. Boise says, player, since last question, do you think the Xbox and Sony will go fully digital, causing some people to go Nintendo because they will still have a physical edition copies of games? No, I don't think Sony or Microsoft will do that. No. Excuse me. Mr. Peoples hit us up with that follow from Twitch. Thank you so much, Mr. Peoples. Do appreciate that. Welcome to the Elite Ninja Nation over there on the Fire Nation of Twitch. So thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. Aiden Quintus, player, since were you surprised to see how big the graphical leap was for Yokai Watch 4? No, you're going from 3DS to an HD system. No. And the graphical leap, like the Yokai Watch 4 graphics aren't even like that great. They're just a lot better than Yokai Watch on the 3DS. Douglas Gates says, player, since are you gonna be on every episode of the Spawncast? Probably going forward. Considering some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. I can't say anything, but yeah, probably I'll be on most of them. Maybe. Potentially. Since Huang says, player, since I mean, yeah, but the last I checked COD game I saw was COD The Finest Hour. I haven't played the game though. Oh, I don't remember what we were talking about, dude. Michael O'Brien says, player, since on port begging, every business will look at the market to see if their product will sell well. So hearing a big public demand for a particular game, it makes it more likely to come. That's a stupid thought process. I'm sorry to but if you honestly think, you're not dumb, Michael O'Brien, but that thought process is idiotic. And let me tell you a couple of reasons why that thought process is dumb. That thought process is dumb because as consumer base, we have already proved money talks. Not saying, oh, I want a game. Oh. No. What companies want is money. They want install base and they want money. Okay? Switch has already proved that we will buy the good games. There is already Octopath is proof. Okay? The games are proof. We are the only ones who have to port beg. Now, if you're talking about everybody, Microsoft, Sony, oh snap, yo, Toby Blaster, yo, let's go. Let's go, Toby Blaster, my boy Flip 999 coming through with the $20 donation. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. I'll get right back to this, guys. And he says, awesome content. Keep it up. Have some money. Smiley face. Thank you so much, Flip. You guys give some Monados, give some love to my boy Flip for the $20 donation. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. But getting back to what I was saying here, that thought process is only for us. Why is it not for anybody else? It's mainly for us. Why do we have to constantly ask and prove ourselves? Kingdom Hearts, let's use Kingdom Hearts as an example, right? Kingdom Hearts has been on multiple Nintendo platforms, right? Every single Nintendo platform that Kingdom Hearts has been on, it's sold well. They've made profit. Why do we have to ask? Why do we have to sit here and say, oh, well, potentially for the fan base, there's more people than they know. They already know. Kingdom Hearts has been on Nintendo platforms for the past decade. Chain of Memories, not Birth by Sleep, 358 Days or whatever and a half, Dream Drop Distance. They already know there's been three games on Nintendo platforms. Why do we have to ask for anything? We've already purchased and bought it. That's ridiculous. That is, in my opinion, that is ridiculous. That is a ridiculous thought process to sit here and say that companies, only from us, not from anybody else, but only from this group, we need to hear you guys talk. No, that's dumb. Okay, are they asking Sony fans? Are they asking them to plead and beg? What, you like being discriminated on? Have some goal. As a consumer, have some backbone. Do not think that these companies sit down segregate us and say, we're going to make them ask for it and these two don't. You want to be that? That's what you want to do? I refuse. I refuse to cut to these developers. I refuse. I will not sit there and beg and plead for me to pay them. That is atrocious. That is ridiculous. Seriously. What if I said to you guys, hey, you want to watch my videos? Beg me. Beg and plead to watch my videos. Oh, and on top of that, pay me too to watch my videos. My videos are free. Obviously, some of you guys donate. Some of you guys help me out. But that's out of the kindness of you guys' heart for my content, right? But what if I was to say to you, I'm looking for guys, people to watch my videos. What if I was to tell you guys, hey, beg me to watch my videos? What would you guys say? You'd be like, no. No. No, that's not how it works. Why do we have to ask them? No, you are publisher, you are developer, you make game, we buy game. You want us to give, they want you to give money, okay? Why do I have to ask to give you money when we've already proven multiple times that we will give you the money? I don't remember begging for Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I don't remember begging for Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. I don't remember begging for Kingdom Hearts 300 something days. They just came out and I bought them. And that was that. End of story. I don't remember begging for Octopath. Octopath just came out and I bought it. I don't remember begging for Ys 8. It just came out and I bought it. I'm not begging for anything. I don't remember begging for Doom. Why do we... I refuse to believe that that is a business process that needs to be practiced. If that is a business practice that needs to be practiced, then it needs to be applied to everyone and not just us. Not just Nintendo fans. I refuse. Now, look. Port begging, asking for games, that was a Wii U staple. That was a Wii U special. Hey, everyone. Let's all rally and get games on the Wii U. Yeah, we can do it. Let's all do it. Yeah. Where's all the Western games on the Wii U? Where's all the games that we asked for? We got nothing. They just, nope. They would make any excuse. We would port beg change.org petitions. There would be so much stuff. Where's it at? Where's it at? So... after the Wii U, and after seeing with the Nintendo Switch, I'm just like, nah, man, I'm done. I'm done. Now, if you want to ask, feel free. You guys are more than welcome. Nobody's telling you that you can't. I'm not going to criticize you. Now, and I will say, port begging, like, you might be better than that. I think all of you guys are better than that. I think as a consumers, we're better than that. We are better than that. But if you want to do it, feel free. Feel free. Feel free to do it. Michael O'Brien says, player, since the word port begging gives the idea of being on your knees. It's not like that. It's more just saying we would like it on Switch. I love Nier Automata on Switch. Did I just port beg? No, you didn't you just didn't port beg. Not really. You just said, oh, you would like a game on Switch. I get that. But to sit there and like make campaigns, make hashtags when you're going above and beyond what the normal means are, then that's when it starts getting into the begging realm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when you start getting into that realm. Like, when you start tagging the developers, when you start making campaigns, when you start trying to rally troops. And if you just throw an offhanded comment, oh, yeah, I like Nier on the Switch. Yeah, I like Persona 5 on the Switch. But I have not made a single tweet, a single campaign, a single momentum drive or whatever to try to say, we need Persona 5 on the Switch and beg for it. That's when it's begging. I personally feel Persona 5 should be on the Switch. And I would like it on there. But that's where it starts and it ends. Right then and there. It doesn't go beyond that. I'm not tagging Atlas. I'm not making hashtag campaigns. I'm not sitting here and trying to rally the troops and get teams together. And I'm not doing all that. Nah, that's where it stops right there. So begging is when you go the extra mile. You know, when you go the extra mile to do it, you know, that, in my opinion, that's when it does that, you know. So yeah. Poor begging is just a way to show companies there's demand for their games, but there already is. There already is demand. They already know. Are you trying to sit here and tell me that the developers behind Kingdom Hearts don't already know Nintendo fans want to play Kingdom Hearts? Why do we have to ask? Everyone keeps on saying, "Oh, well, it's just to show that we want it." But why do we need to? Why? Yes, we want Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts has been on Nintendo platforms before. Yes, yes. We've bought it before. We've already bought millions of copies of Kingdom Hearts. Why must we say it again? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Why do I have to sit here and say it? Like I said, do you walk into a supermarket and say, "Can I please have this piece of food?" No, you pick it up and you go buy it. Why do you don't have to ask when you're at the supermarket that you're hungry or that you need to go grocery shopping, "What can I buy?" or "Can I please buy some food?" No, you walk into the grocery store and you buy the food and then you leave. It's simple. We don't need to ask for things that are trivial. It is trivial that we should already get this game, X game or Y game. That is a trivial thing. It is not something that we need to show demand for. No, we have already bought it. Money. Nintendo fans have spent money. Your voice does nothing. You saying something is just you saying something. Your money is far more important. We've already bought these games. We've already bought Kingdom Hearts. Why must we ask for something? That is a slap in the face to the consumer. There's nothing that anybody can say here and tell me that isn't a slap in the face to the consumer. We've already bought Dream Drop Distance over 1,000,000 times. Why must we ask again? No, we didn't ask. I'm not giving the worst analogies ever. You are not understanding from business and consumer. It is a very good analogy. It's not. The problem with that is that you're saying, "Oh, well, why is he comparing food to video games?" Well, I'm comparing the process of being a business, okay? Any business. It doesn't matter what business is. Let's take out the supermarket. Any business. Businesses don't beg consume. Like, you shouldn't have to beg them to give them your money. The business, the company, should be asking for your money and providing you those products, not saying, "Hey, if you want this, beg me for it." That's how all business works. Pretty much every single business works that way. Do you run a business? Like I said here, I can pretend it's my own. I am not telling you guys, "Hey, you guys want to watch my videos? Beg for my videos." No, that's not how it works. I am the provider. I put up my videos and I ask you guys, "Please watch my videos." I don't sit here and tell you, it's not the other way around. I'm giving you a great example. If you can't think past what the simple thought process of that, of business compared to consumer and how that's supposed to work, if you can't think that through that thought process with a simple analogy as in, okay, business, do you beg for whatever products inside said store or business? No. They ask you to buy it. They provide for you. If you can't think past that, my guy, then I'm sorry. Maybe video comprehension is not your thing. But what I'm trying to sit here and tell you is that if you are a consumer, you do not need to ask for a game from the business that is providing. You do not have to do that. Like I said, you guys would all be gone if I sat there and told you guys, beg for my videos. You got a lot of you guys would just be like, "Bye, Felicia." Gone. Nobody's gonna sit there. You're not gonna beg me. You're not gonna show demand for my videos. What kind of stupidity is that? No. I want you guys to watch them. I will say, "Hey, here's my video. Can you please watch it? Check it out." You know, I'm not gonna say, "Hey guys, you want me to do this? All right, here we go." You know, I might sometimes set up little fun goals. Hey, if we get 13 retweets or we get 100 retweets, you know, I'll release this early or anything like that. But for the most part, 99.9% of the videos, I just, whatever, you know? Like, the analogy is perfect. You just can't think past it because you're thinking video games are some type of different magical business, some type of magical thing that doesn't pertain to normal business standards, which is complete BS. Video game business is just the same as any other business out there. Consumers are easily swayed by things, and they think they want to pray and hope for things. you know, and they want to be easily swayed and give hope and praise and all this type of thing to developers because they put video games in such a higher limelight because video games take up so much of your time, your soul, your effort, all of that stuff. So you guys hold it to a different pedestal. So you guys have like some people have like some type of Stockholm, like weird Stockholm syndrome with video games, you know? They let the developers be the oppressors, you know? You're captive and you sympathize with people that are oppressing you in certain ways when it shouldn't be the case. We're the consumers. We shouldn't have to beg or ask. You should be marketing to us. I don't see how this is a hard concept. I don't. Anyway, but Square's not asking us to beg for Kingdom Hearts 3. We are asking them to port it. So Square already knows that you guys all want it on there. They already know. Square, this is not their first rodeo. They already know. They already know. We don't have to ask for it. They already know. They already know. Plain and simple. That's what it comes down to. You can ask for whatever you want. And yes, Square isn't asking us to beg for it. But at the same time, they already know that Kingdom Hearts has been on Nintendo platforms before. You think they're just saying like, oh, I wonder if these Nintendo fans want Kingdom Hearts. You think that they're really doing that? Do you really think that they're sitting down and saying, oh, I wonder if they want this? Like, do you really think that they're doing that? Honestly, honest question to Sin31. Do you really think that they're sitting down in their office and they're asking them that? Are they confused on what Nintendo fans want if they want Kingdom Hearts? Are they confused? Did they forget the sales of the other Kingdom Hearts games? Did they forget that there's other big Kingdom Hearts games that have been on Nintendo platforms that have sold really well? Did they forget about all those games? Did they forget? I mean, seriously, like, think about it. He said Goofy's the president. Well, like that'd be the only person who'd be dumb enough to sit there and think that Nintendo fans don't want this game on the system. Like, who's thinking that at Square Enix? Or do you think that they're that dumb? I wonder if these Nintendo fans want Kingdom Hearts. Do you really think that's what's going on at Square Enix? If you think that, then okay, then you think that. That's fine. That's fine. Player says unrelated topic, but your goofy voice is 100%. Oh man. DJ King Gaming says, player, since I visited the Nintendo World Store last week while I was in New York, and it was pretty amazing. Ever thought about going? Yeah, I thought about going. I'll go at some point. Cal Nintendo says, player, since we did not have to port beg for Dragon Quest 11 on Switch. Exactly. Although it's not out yet, but still. Player, since why do we Nintendo Switch fans need to beg? I don't know. We don't. I think most fans don't. I think it's more of a small sect of fans that do. I don't think most don't. Most just play whatever. Or actually, I would say most Nintendo fans just have another system and they'll just buy it on there. Like, I mean, I know a number of guys that just have, like, I have an Xbox, I have a PlayStation. Like, I no longer have to, like, if it only comes on there, then it only comes on there. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. It's video games, you know. It's video games. So yeah. But OJ, I love to beg for my games. Yeah, man. Let's see here. Thank you, Senator Parsons. Or hold up, James. Oh, James Walter says, Parsons, you are one of the most fun live streamers I watch. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Senator Parsons. What's the install base for the Switch right now? We don't have any official numbers, but I would say it's over 20 million. Port Essence. PB says, Parsons, feels like developers always treat Nintendo systems and players differently from Xbox and PlayStation players. They do. Well, that's because Xbox and PlayStation are exactly the same systems. But even if they're not, or whatever, beside the case of that, but yeah, you're right, they do. Because the reason why is because Nintendo has Nintendo games, and Nintendo games are different. So third-party games are always the most popular on Sony and Microsoft systems. Those sell the best, whereas third-party games don't sell the best on Nintendo systems. So there's a reason for them treating us differently at times, you know. Request Demigod says, Parsons, what system do you collect the most games for? I don't know. That's tough. I would probably just say I buy most Switch games, I guess. Deadlock 7 says, Parsons, rather than port begging, people should talk to Nintendo, asking them for certain types of games, help Nintendo secure things like Paladins and Fortnite. That's silly too. I don't think that's something that we need to do either. I don't think that's something that we need to do. That's something that third-party developers, Nintendo's already doing that. Nintendo has a third-party relations guy. His name is Damon Baker, you know, and he's already on that. He does all the port begging for us. If you want to know what his job is, he's a professional port beggar for Nintendo. And I'm saying that in a good way, guys, not a bad way. Damon Baker, that's what he does. He's the third-party guy for Nintendo. He talks to third-party developers. He asks them for stuff. He says, "What can we do to help?" He's the guy. So they already pay somebody to do it. You don't got to do anything. He was port begging for Prey. So his Damon Baker's word is definitely something like he's the guy that actually makes things happen and get deals going. So he's doing his job. He's doing the best that he can. So there you go. Player, since do you think July 24th Nintendo Direct rumor is fake? So tomorrow? Yeah, because they would have announced something. Unless it's like a mini direct or something. Player says, okay, Dawson31, this is not that is not the case, what you just said. I'll read off your comment, but that is not the case. You said, I think that they're just confused in general about Kingdom Hearts, LOL. But regardless, if we ask them or not, I know they've considered it already. They consider already addressed. They considered it and already addressed it. We'll see if it happens eventually. I don't think they're confused about on the Switch. I don't think that's the case at all. Now, do you think that in terms of Kingdom Hearts by itself? Yes, that's a very yes. They're all confused on the franchise itself. Yes, but I don't know about in terms of it like confusion on the Switch and whether to bring it out. There's no confusion there. They're just Square Enix. They're just I like to separate the teams. They're just Kingdom Hearts branch of Square Enix. Weirdos. How many Joy-Cons do I have? What does it matter? 4. What does that matter? How many Joy-Cons I have? Hisin Huang says, player, since I wanted Skullgirls to Switch, but I never went out and begged for it because I already know it will come Switch sooner or later. I didn't know Skullgirls would come to Switch sooner or later, actually. I mean, that was a pleasant surprise. Dawson 31 says, player, since I was just saying it because of the situation for Kingdom Hearts 3 is different from Dragon Ball FighterZ or other games. The developers ask us to beg. If you want to go beg, but I guarantee you begging doesn't do anything for you. I don't think it does. But hey, if you want to do it, you guys all have your own brains, so you can do whatever you want. Katana Riku says, player, since I wish I could get paid for port begging. Yeah, that's a good job to have, man. Jose Lopez says, player, since what Xbox One games did you buy? Well, I don't even remember the last time I bought an Xbox One game, but I got a bunch of them back there. I'm not really like Diablo and Gears of War. I got Halo. I don't play none of them though. AZ Glitch says, player, since Borderlands 3 was going to come out for the Switch, but Nintendo stopped talks with the devs for some reason. One of the devs said so. I think Randy Pitchford said so. Pitchfork or whatever his name is. Nintendo should be better with third-party relations. I don't think that determines that Nintendo is bad with third-party relations, considering Doom and Wolfenstein and Fortnite and Paladins and so many other games are on there. So you use one situation there, then try to hold it against them when there's a bunch of other big third-party games on the Switch. So I think that's silly to say that Nintendo should be better with third-party relations when you weren't inside the room and you don't know what happened. He didn't tell you the full story, and the fact that you would believe somebody from Gearbox, who are habitual liars about lots of stuff, I think that's funny that you would just believe them and right off the back without even thinking more of a thought process on that. Think about that. Think about Gearbox. Think about the developers that you're talking about. Think about what they've done in the past and how much they've lied and what's happened with that company, and then rethink the question after that. Just think about that, dude. These are people that have been sued for millions of dollars for lying. These are people that have lied crazily in the past about things. These are people who took Sega's money, literally took Sega's money. Sega thought that they're going to get an Aliens Colonial Marines game from them. They handed that off to somebody else and then used that money potentially to fund Borderlands 3. They lied about, Gearbox also lied, they made a demo or whatever, or they made like a trailer that wasn't even the real trailer for Aliens Colonial Marines. So these people are habitual liars. These guys are, people lie all the time and then you're going to just sit there and believe them. That's interesting. My alarm just went off. Paint Flat Purple says, player, since when is Nintendo's first quarter report? I think it's in a couple months. Or wouldn't it be second quarter? No, would it be first quarter? One of those two. I'm not really sure. Look it up. I'm not really sure. DJ King Gaming says, player, since not only him, but Nintendo themselves are going to TGS 2018 to talk to Japanese devs, and Unreal Engine 4 was updated on Switch, so people need to just wait. Yeah, or play the games that are out. Like Dragon Ball FighterZ is coming out. Or like, you know, Blade Strangers is coming out. Or like Monster Hunter is coming out. Or like all these other games are coming out from third-party developers. Or just play those. Yeah. Dragonite 23X Productions says, player, since do you think Crystal will make a comeback someday? Crystal from what? Star Fox? Maybe. PB says, player, since are you going to late night Octopath stream? Probably not. Probably not tonight. Katana Riku says, player, since random question, but are you excited for Shin Megami Tensei 5 on the Switch? Yes, I am. It's my #1 game I'm waiting for besides Zelda. Yeah, I've made multiple videos. I'm excited for it. Fernando Gonzalez says, player, since I think I'm the worst port beggar out there, because whenever I have a chance to ask third-party companies to make... Okay, I've got to arm that alarm or it's going to keep beeping like crazy. Give me a second, guys. I thought I already had it armed, but it was not armed. You're a big port beggar. You can port beg all you want to. I would say have some respect for yourself, though, man. That's what I would say. Have some respect for yourself. But if you don't want to, if you want to go out there and beg for this stuff, go ahead. Yeah, Ataki said it right. Gearbox and their CEO Randy Pitchford are the biggest scam artists in gaming. I mean, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, you know. But like the fact that, like you said, like the fact that you would use Gearbox as some type of, oh well, Nintendo's not good with third party because of what Gearbox said. That just goes to show you, like, you know, you're not really reading up on, not you, but I think AZ, like the fact that he would believe them right off the bat is very funny, considering this developer and their lying and shady past. But hey, you know, sometimes people don't read past the lines; they just read that and all of a sudden they have an opinion. They don't even research anything. K on Nintendo says, since do you know about the Atelier port from the PS3 that is coming this year in Japan? I think I made a video on it. Yeah, there's like some PS3 ones. Yeah. Just look up Atelier on my channel and you'll see all the videos that I've made on that. That's fine if you want to play those games handheld. That's great, but that doesn't mean it's going to come, and that doesn't mean you begging for them is going to do anything. Like, you can sit here and beg and plead for I don't know, for The Rock to give you a Lamborghini, but you're probably not going to get a Lamborghini from The Rock. You know, like I said, that's a silly analogy or whatever, but I mean, begging and pleading for stuff doesn't mean you're going to get it. It doesn't mean you're going to get anything, you know. Begging or pleading doesn't mean you're going to get anything. I would say put that energy into actually buying the third-party games that come out. But that's just me. Like I said, you can do whatever you want, dude. If you guys want to ask me a question, tag me @PlayerEssence, and ask me a question. AZ Glitches Parsons, well, I don't know anything about Gearbox and only played Borderlands for 5 hours, so I don't know anything about the franchise either, so this is news to me. Well, you know, that's why this is the reason why, guys, like, when you guys come to my channel, not only do I want you guys to know the news, but I want you guys to be informed on things. I want you guys to research things. Do not jump to conclusions. That's what Nintendo fans do quite a bit. AZ Glitch, you jump to a conclusion. You saw that. You don't know much about Borderlands. You don't know much about Gearbox. You don't know much about what went on. But you instantly jump to, well, Nintendo's not good with third-party developers because you read that one thing. So stop jumping to conclusions. I think that's the biggest thing that people need to stop doing. And it's not just Nintendo fans, guys. It's everybody. Stop jumping to conclusions. Research something. Have some backstory before you say, hey, well, this is what's happening. Because if I didn't tell you that, nobody would have told you that. And it's a pretty well documented that Gearbox are liars. This is a very well documented thing by big YouTubers like Jim Sterling and others, that Gearbox are liars. This is not a new thing, you know? So before you have that criticism, research what you're talking about so you can at least be informed before you come and say, oh, well, they're not, what happened? You know, or like, oh, they said this. Like, research that Gearbox are liars. Like, they're literally one of the biggest liars. Ataki wasn't, it's not hyperbole that Ataki said, like, there are some of the biggest scam artists in gaming. Yes, they literally scammed Sega for millions of dollars. Like, that's not... And they lost a lawsuit in Australia where they had to pay people $2.1 million. These people are documented, lost in court Scammers. Gearbox. Are they good developers? Yes. They can make a good game. They made Borderlands. They make Borderlands, and that's it. That's about their only good game that they can make. They've made Borderlands. That's good. But that doesn't mean that they haven't scammed people or haven't lied to people. You know, that doesn't mean that they're great people. Everybody that works there is great people or anything like that. It just means that they have a franchise that's really popular, and that's Borderlands. But they've been documented scammers and liars. You know, so, you know, that's all I'm trying to say. Yeah, Pitchford lied right straight to Jim Sully's face. Exactly. Jose Lopez says, then why did you buy an Xbox One X? I bought an Xbox One X because it was incredibly cheap from that Target glitch deal that I got. Okay, Paying Fat Purple says, Playerson's first quarter report is on Wednesday. You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'll be covering it on I'll be covering it right here on Player Essence. Player Essence, it's just free marketing for them. Simply Chris says, yeah, man. You trust them with your, it sounds like you trust them with the social security number. Yeah, man. Teach them, OJ, preach. You know, you got to do your best, man. You got to do your best. Guys, like when you see something, research it. Research it first. Research it first. Don't just automatically assume whatever one person says is true. You know, research it. Deadlock 7 says, "Portions at the end of the day, when the Switch install base becomes huge, Pokemon will do pretty much single-handedly. Then everybody will want to put games on there." Well, there's a lot of people that are still. We need to remember, guys. We're still getting third-party games. We got Wolf. We're still getting stuff, guys. I mean, we're still getting stuff. But I don't think everyone's just gonna want. Even if it gets bigger, I don't think everyone's gonna want to do that. There is, guys. Honestly, like there is a thing called that they just don't want to. Like honestly, like have you ever woke up in the morning, you just don't feel like going to school, even though that you know you should, you know, back in the day. Or that you know you should go to the gym, or you know you should do something and you don't do it. Have you guys? I'm pretty sure that's happened to all of us here, right? That's honestly the thought process of some of these developers. Maybe they should, but they just don't want to. And a lot of fans can't take that as an answer because it's like, well, why not? I bought this system. I want my games on it, and they can't take "I don't want to" for an answer. That's why developers skirt around and make excuses and say different things. They just don't want to say, no, I don't want to. So that's what most of these developers are. Why don't you put this on Switch? What they really want to say is, I don't want to. We don't need to. Leave me alone. I don't want to do it. So I think that's what they want to say, but they're not saying that. And fans obviously would have a problem with that, right? But I think that's what they're thinking in their head, in my opinion. In my opinion. Yeah, AZ glitch. Yeah, yeah. Just go look up Gearbox scandals. Gearbox lies. Just type in Gearbox lies, and I mean, I can do it for you. Sega outs Gearbox for lying in Aliens Colonial Marines case. From dream to disaster, the story of Aliens Colonial Marines. Don't buy this if you're still over the lies. ACM. Gearbox boss does whatever the F he likes, says Sega. Why did Batman lie? Okay, hold up. That has nothing to do with that. Why did Batman lie about something? So yeah, that's like you just type that in. Videos out of bounds. Gearbox lies. Sanctuary never leaves. Don't believe Randy Pitchford's lies. You know. So yeah, that's pretty much. That's all you got to type in, man, and you know you'll get that on there. I'm not gonna. I already told you guys. I know of a big game that's being ported over. And I told you guys the year 1996. That's my tip. It's 1996. If you can't figure out what the game is from me giving you just a hint of 1996, then I don't know what to tell you. Let's see here. Yeah, that's the first result. Resident Evil. Interesting. Gonna hide my face. DX11332 Sega says, Player Essence, do you think Marvelous will still do Nintendo exclusives for the Switch like they did for the 3DS? Isn't that game from Marvelous? Like, what's that game? Damon Cross Machina? That's a Marvelous game, so yeah. It's a Marvelous game. Do you guys have any other questions? It's been 2 hours, so I actually got to stop the podcast here. So I'll answer this one more question from PB. It says, Player Essence, do you think we'll get Tales of Symphonia or Abyss if Vesperia sells well? I think it's a possibility, yes. Another question. DX 11,332 says, Player Essence, I think Ace Attorney and Yokai Watch are Switch exclusives. Yes, they are. Well, do you count smartphones? Because I'm pretty sure that like Ace Attorney might come to smartphones too, like the new one. Whatever they're doing for Switch. Maybe. I'm not sure. Super Mario side scroller? Like what? New Super Mario Bros? Maybe that happens. Maybe it doesn't. All right, guys. That wraps it up for this one here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Your boy has to get some work done for tomorrow's videos. Or actually, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, and I'm gonna get some work done for tomorrow's videos. We are gonna raid somebody. Look forward to a raid. Who we got here? Who we got here? Who we got here? John Riggs. Got my boy John Riggs. My boy John Riggs is playing some VR. Some weird VR game. So you guys want to go over there and raid my boy John Riggs? I'll put it here in the chat. Let him know. Let him know that I sent you. And make sure you check out my videos for the day, guys. Make sure you check out my videos for the day. Really good videos. Really good videos. Really good videos. So make sure you guys check that out. We'll see you guys in the next one. That is the link to John Riggs' channel. You guys go, make sure you go rate him. Tell him that Player Essence sent you. Player Essence sent you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Remember the schedule. 6 a.m. That's when videos start. You get videos nonstop all the way till 6 p.m. when we do our live stream. So you get videos every single day here. You get pretty good quality editing. Not the best, but still very good quality editing. Videos all day. We're going with the news kind of format here. 3 videos, 3 PE news, rant or discussion videos, and then also live streams at the end of the day at 6 o'clock. So look forward to that. 6 a.m. PT, 9 a.m. Eastern ET for videos. That's when the videos start, and you get them all day till we do our live stream at night. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate all the donations and everything. You guys are amazing, and I will see you guys for the next one. Peace.